अस्सलाम वालेकुम। फर्स्ट ईयर के पुराने तलबा तालबात जो अपने प्रीवियस सालाना इम्तहान में अपना इंग्लिश का पेपर पास नहीं कर सके थे वो परेशान ना हों। उनके पुराने सिलेबस में से इंग्लिश के 15 लेसन में से सिर्फ 15 ही उर्दू ट्रांसलेशन उनके लिए पैराग्राफ इंग्लिश वाले अपलोड किए हैं, तो वो परेशान ना हों। ये उनके लिए ही पैराग्राफ हैं, 15 हैं सिर्फ, बहुत ज़्यादा नहीं। हालांकि 15 लेसन में से 15 पैराग्राफ ना होने के बराबर हैं। इंशाल्लाह अल्लाह ताला के फजल करम से पे बड़ा यकीन भरोसा है कि इन्हीं में से एक पैराग्राफ वो आपके पेपर में जो कि 16 जून को ही होना है वो ज़रूर आ जाएगा। पहला पैरा आपका जी लेसन 2 से है। ओनली ट्वाइस डिड माई फादर स्टॉप टू वाइप द स्वेट फ्रॉम हिज आईज as he climbed the second steep bluff towards the fingers of the pines. We reached the limbless trunks of these tall straight pines whose branches reached toward the blue depth of sky. The white cloud was now gone. I saw clearing, a small clearing of not more than 3/4 of an acre in the heart of this wilderness, right on the mountain top. आपके लेसन 2 में से पैराग्राफ लिया गया है। ये पैरा भी आपका लेसन 2 में से लिया गया है। Is that what you wanted to show me? I asked. Oh no, no, he said as he began to climb the second bluff that lifted abruptly from the flat towards the sky. The pines on top of the mountain above us looked as if the fingers of their long bows were fondling the substance of a white cloud. Whatever my father wanted me to see was on top of the highest point of my form. ये आपका उसी का ही जी पैराग्राफ है दूसरे लेसन का। I looked at the vast mountain slope below where my mother and father had formed, and I could remember years later when they formed this land. I was on this steep slope that my father once made me a little wooden pod. That was when I was 6 years old, and they brought me to the field to thin corn. I lost my little paw in a furrow, and I cried and cried until he made me another plow. But I never loved the second plow as I did the first one. आपके दूसरे लेसन में से 3 पैराग्राफ मैंने अपलोड किए हैं, जो मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट आपका लेसन है। और ये चौथा भी उसी लेसन में से आपका पैरा। नाउ टू लुक एट द माउंटेन स्लोप grown up with the tall trees, many of them big enough to have sawed into lumber at the mill. It was hard to believe that my father and mother had cleared this mountain slope. और जी खत्म आपका हो रहा है जी matted their tops together पे। ये आपका जी लेसन 3 आपका है, दाग देवर वाला लेसन, उसमें से पैराग्राफ लिया गया है। The man felt his hair flutter and the tissues of his body draw tight as if he was standing at the center of a vacuum. His wife before him seemed almost to reel away in smoke. The children's small seeds might at any instant be sown to all the Martian climes. ये आपका चौथा लेसन है जी, वाशिंगटन लॉले बेस वाला जी। अच्छा जी, but you put yourself in contact with me, said the woman. If you think that contact is going to last a while, you got another thought coming. When I got through with you, sir, you are going to remember Miss Lola Bates Washington Jones. What a good name. Sweat popped out on the boy's face and he began to struggle. Mrs. Jones stopped, jerked him around in front of her, put a half lantern around his neck and continued to drag him up the street. नेक्स्ट आपका जी चौथे लेसन का ही जी आपका पैराग्राफ है। The strap broke with a sudden single tug. The boy gave it from behind, but the boy's weight and the weight of the purse combined caused him to lose his balance. Instead of taking off full blast as he had hoped, the boy fell on his back on the sidewalk and his legs flew up. The large woman simply turned around and kicked him right square in his blue jean sitter. ये आपका जी छठा लेसन है, उसमें से पैरा लिया गया है। As the years went by, he wore down opposing arguments till he had taught people what a lesson it would It would be to all the nations to have a young athlete at court exhibiting perfect physical fitness, and how such an example would strengthen their soldiers and enable them to finally to win the just rights of the nation in victorious battle against their accursed neighbors. And so the idea caught on, and to make a very long story short, the post of court acrobat was duly created. ये जी 6 लेसन में से पैराग्राफ 2 लिए गए हैं. द ग्रेट थ्रोन रूम हैड बीन टर्न्ड इनटू अ काइंड ऑफ जिम्नेजियम with the members of the royal house seated along a raised platform at one end and the principal officers standing beside and behind them. Great curtains of red and gold were hung along the walls, and the high swings of acrobats hung down with gilded ropes from the ceiling, and a row of neat hurdles was arranged on the polished floor, like the ones over which Gorgeous had won his race when at school. इसी लेसन का जी एक और पैराग्राफ. Lights glittered, a band in pale green and gold played softly, and it was indeed a splendid scene. I will not describe it to you, because everything there, the uniform and the ladies' brilliant dresses, was utterly put into the shade. The moment when the doors opened with a flood of golden light, and the old man in his brilliant uniform appeared between them for the crowning of his life's work. His white hair and the red uniform of the court acrobat showed each other off to perfection, and his thin figure, worn with age, was made all the more melancholy by the tight-fitting uniform. It's from lesson number 7. Get me a smooth-handled spoon of some sort. I told the mother, we are going through with this. The child's mouth was already bleeding, her tongue was cut, and she was screaming in wild hysterical shrieks. Perhaps I should have desisted and come back in an hour or more, no doubt. It would have been better, but I have seen at least 2 children lying dead in bed of neglect in such cases, and feeling that I must get a diagnosis now or never. ये आपका जी नेक्स्ट भी लेसन 7 से ही है जी. Then I grasped the child's head with my left hand and tried to get the wooden tongue depressed between her teeth. She fought with clenched teeth desperately, but now I also had grown furious at a child. I tried to hold myself down, but I couldn't know how to expose the throat for inspections. And I did my best when finally I got the wooden spatula behind the last teeth and just the point of it into the mouth cavity. She opened up for an instant, but before I could see anything, she came down again and gripped the wooden blade between her molars. She reduced it to splinters before I could get it out again. ये आपका लेसन 10 में से जी है. Is it very bad? Asked Margaret fearfully, and the old man said emphatically, we are finished. This swarm may pass over, but once they have started, they will be coming down from the north, now one after another, and then there are the hoopers. It might go on for 2 or 3 years. For the Lord's sake, said Margaret angrily, still half crying, what is here is bad enough, isn't it? For although the evening air was no longer black and thick, but a clear blue with a pattern of insects whizzing this way and that across it, everything else, trees, buildings, bushes, earth, was gone under the moving brown masses. ये आपका लेसन 12 से है जी. I want you to understand me, Della. He said, nothing like a haircut could make me careless for you. But if you will open that, you may know what I felt when I came in. White fingers pulled off the paper, and then a cry of joy, and then changes to tears. For there lay the comb that Della has seen in a shop window and loved for a long time. Beautiful combs with jewels perfect for her beautiful hair. she had known they cost too much for her to buy them. She has looked at them without the least hope of owning them. ये आपके लेसन 14 से है जी. The driver of the truck had heard a shriek and had actually for a moment slowed down, but realizing that something serious had happened, had taken advantage of the darkness and had sped away into the night. Two of three passers-by who had witnessed the accident shouted, "Stop him! Take the number!" But the truck was no more to be seen. ये आपका जी लेसन 15 का ये पैराग्राफ है जी. I also reminded him of the 4 balcony seats I had taken for the monster show at His Majesty's in aid of the fund for the destitute British Johannesburg. Not all the celebrated actors and actresses announced on the posters had appeared, but all had sent letters full of kind wishes, and the others, all the celebrities one had never heard of, had turned up to a man. Still, on the whole, the show was well worth the money. There was nothing to grumble at. स्टूडेंट्स, ये जो अपने एनुअल एग्जाम 2025 में इंग्लिश के पेपर पास नहीं कर सके थे, अब जो मैं नई फर्स्ट ईयर जो है, जो नए सिलेबस के साथ अपने पेपर्स देने जा रही है, आपका भी 16 जून को है, नई का भी 16 जून को है, मैंने उनके मॉक टेस्ट शुरू किए. उन मॉक टेस्टों में आपके लिए भी 3-4 चीज़ें वो ज़रूरी और फ़ायदेमंद है. जो स्टोरीज, जो एप्लीकेशंस मैं उन मॉक टेस्ट में दे रहा हूँ, उनका मैंने गैस अपलोड किया. मॉक टेस्ट एक पहले 28 को अपलोड किया था, एक मैंने आज 5 बजे कर दिया है. तो वहाँ पे जो पेयर ऑफ वर्ड्स हैं, जो आपकी स्टोरीज हैं, जो आपकी एप्लीकेशंस हैं, वो आप वहाँ से याद करें, वही आपके लिए फ़ायदेमंद हैं. और जो पंक्चुएशन के और लेक्चर हैं वो मैं अपलोड करने जा रहा हूँ. मेरे पहले लेक्चर भी पंक्चुएशन के आपके सिलेबस के अपलोडेड हैं. जिन्होंने अभी तक सब्सक्राइब चैनल को नहीं किया वो सब्सक्राइब कर लें, क्योंकि बहुत सारी चीज़ें जो आपके लिए फ़ायदेमंद है वो भी अपलोड होने जा रही हैं. सो थैंक्स यू वेरी मच.